Hello, folks. It's good to be back this evening. I'm your little dark angel, ready for Halloween. But what I really wanted to read to you about is some poems that I consider little horror stories about reality, is kind of how I look at them. I asked some of my good friends who were the greatest living poets, living women poets, and they all chimed in. And the first name that came up was Francesca Bell, so I decided to check out some of her poems, and they blew me away. One in particular just stayed with me. I'll give you a brief bio. I don't know when she was born. I couldn't find that out. But she was born in Spokane, Washington, into a family with deep hardscrabble roots in the Northwest. She was raised in Washington and Idaho and settled as an adult in California. She did not complete middle school, high school, or college and holds no degrees. She has worked as a massage therapist, a cleaning lady, a daycare worker, a nanny, a barista, and as a server in the kitchen of a retirement home. And she is currently the Marin County Poet Laureate through 2026. She also has a bunch of publications, but I kind of tend to think that's the least interesting thing about an author. So let's just get into some of her poems. They're really interesting. This one's called I Leave My Window Open Now to Hear Them. Nights, I hear barn owls calling shrill as hunger stripped bare, and think of the onion farmer from the east of the mountains, his broad, exhausted body on my massage table. The owl, he told me, screamed at winter from his barn rafters. He said the sound made the cold colder when he trudged from field to barn house. After I touched all the places I was licensed to, bunched tender shoulders that crept towards his ears, beat up hands, leathery as dog paws pads, each buttock's lonely hillock giving gently beneath my forearms strokes. He sat up and asked me if I'd have sex with him. He promised not to hurt me, to buy me dinner after. He said it plain, did not look away. But I was 20 and knew nothing of desolation, or owls, or wintering over onions, or of a farmer pacing ugly acres, as layer upon layer of stinging, weeping sweetness form beneath the frozen, solid ground. I'm pretty impressed, personally. This one is called Faith. There are so many ways to call what's holy, but though I summon you, you do not come. You're like a dream I can't quite remember, only your name, a taste I cannot place, whispers on my tongue. Your little one I simper along, your little joke, your little song, but nowhere in the catalog of this world do I find you. This next one is called And Then. The man remembers your body, remembers to love you again, flicks you like a switch, waiting, ready in the room's shadows. Loneliness rises from each reclaimed centimeter, a humiliating eagerness, rushing you like a hound loosed in woods, your cry like baying or keening. Months of waiting become sound. After, the man sleeps, peaceful, but you are a door he's opened, a path grown over, now beaten back down. You feel his life, which will end before yours, slides slowly away into the dark. Okay, this one is called Letter to the Man Who Said I Stayed on His Brain like a hit of acid that wouldn't kick in. I thought of you this morning, our 6 years of letters, and the time you kissed me in the Saturday schoolyard, how we swung from side to side, together, away. It was October then, like it is every year, like it is now, and that kiss tastes like green apples and leaves flaming in the gathering dark. Days like today, I swear I hear the small complaint the chains made when we moved apart. Every morning I do my 5 miles, running up over the ridge and down around the slough. Once a coyote followed me almost all the way, and I thought of you. At Whole Foods this noon, the apples were so perfectly green, my cart so full. I wish I could tell you I am still the person you thought you knew. Still the girl who likes things broken, who lives her life along a bright and growing fissure, who dances best with a man whose limp keeps time. 6 years of letters, and I barely ever saw your face, but I remember your eyes, October blue. And the small sigh it was to wait for you. On LinkedIn, I see you soldiered some again, and I imagine you running in the Iraq desert dusk. But when we were young, you sent a tiny Korean flower from your base, pressed between 2 slips of paper you left blank. I dreamt you lost your hands in war, then cried, trying to lift a black veil from my face. More than 20 years now. No more letters come. Dear Paul, who wrote of bones and broken bottles, I often wake in night's harrowed middle and think of how you wish for me. What you wish for me is real. Sweet women, you wrote, stay hungry. I am hungry, famished, so barren I swell, fecund with ruin, vacancy overflowing me, as if I have no bounds. After dinner, I push my last late child on the swings out back, my hands empty, then fill again with her as the chains wind the long last line of falling. Okay, these last 2 I'm about to hit y'all with. Y'all better be ready for this. This one's called Severance. I'm one of those men, he told me with a crooked little smile, reaching gingerly across the space between us. Men you read about in history books, he said, as his right hand, the hand with one finger gone AWOL, vanished into the darkness up my skirt and crept beyond my underwear's flimsy barrier. It was 20 years ago. I was 19, like you are now. I nodded and pressed firmly against his touch, trying to figure which part of him I felt, whether it was the finger he still had or the one he'd lost that slipped inside me. When I got back, I didn't tell anyone and smoked opium in some hotel, bought myself a fur coat. I felt like goddamn Jim Morrison. I felt like... He paused, shifting to where he could reach me better. Like what I was, a man who killed women and children, fucking infants. He halted there to see that he had me at attention. I killed with pleasure, whatever I could. I cried out at that, but by then it was too far to pull back, shuddered helplessly against his maimed hand. Sure, what I felt was the part of him gone missing. And this next poem, this is the one that stayed with me. I read it at first and I didn't think I liked it. I just put it aside and the image kept coming back to me over and over again. And I was like, you know, that's what a fucking good poem does. It sticks with you and it comes back to you over and over again. And you have to go back and read it again. And that's what this one did. And that's why I think this poet is a genius. This one is called Frog of God. When the vet prescribes medicine for your frog, you think it smells all wrong, but use it anyway, dousing him with goodness of heart, watching his smooth body drink it in, and see you've begun to kill him. His beautiful turquoise skin darkens and lesions open on it. You rinse him in spring water, but he's dying, big eyes gone cloudy. Everyone tells you he was just a frog, but you know he was a frog of God, fat green Buddha on his branch, Now he looks like the baby in Hiroshima, burned flesh peeling off. Now he stares at you as you cross the room with eyes like the eyes of Auschwitz, trying to capture the world's averted gaze. He could almost be Christ himself, emptying the bitter cup that you, with such pure intentions, filled to overflowing. So that is my introduction to Francesca Bell. I wanted to share with all of you. I'm happy to be back and making videos again. Please like and subscribe and share. Have a great evening, my friends. Mwah.